Hey, good morning, fellow YouTubers. So here I am, driving through the Malibu mountains on the way to the Pictographs that I recently posted that video. I was a little bit upset because I use this My Movie app, and when you include photos, they get much closer than the photo is, and so they block out a lot of the top and the bottom portions of the photo. So darn it, I'm not happy with how that came out, because you ended up, I tried to get close-ups of those photos, so you end up, when the app cuts in even closer on those photos, you end up missing like important details like the head or the bottom portion of the figures. So I hate it when that happens. I should have filmed a video, but because I was kind of self-conscious with the tour guide being there, and I know he'd be asking me, what are you doing here? I didn't feel like running a video as I came strolling in would be the best approach. So, gosh, it almost makes me want to go back there and videotape that whole little section of wall. I love on Sundays when I'm riding up to the rock store, it's just great to see all those fellow motorcycle enthusiasts, in such a good mood. And you definitely get a feeling of that kind of, brethren, fellow bikers, enthusiasts, whatever you want to say, because as you're passing each other, you're acknowledging each other and waving, and then when you get up to the rock store, there's just a real feeling of acceptance. It's kind of a little bit different from when I started going up here in like '84, where it was a big gap between anyone that was pretty much on a sport bike versus Harley Davidsons. So, because you didn't have Metro Cruisers, you didn't have, all you had was cruisers or sport bikes. And, even if the cruiser was a cool Triumph, that had been altered to have forward controls and, maybe an ape hanger and extended forks so it'd become more of a chopper. Those things were accepted, those things were cool, but, you only really had cruisers and sport bikes, and neither of the twain shall meet. So you didn't really have, a Harley guy pulling up and getting off and talking nicely with someone on a rice burner, inline four-cylinder Japanese bike. Now, there was some difference if it was like, a sport bike that was English. So if it was Norton or BSA or Triumph, Superior Brow, those were like the real first cruisers. The ergonomics of, these bikes from England from the like 30s and 40s by this company called Superior Brough, Brough. I'm not sure if I'm saying that second part correct, but man, I have such an affinity for those. If I won a lottery, I think I'd get a plane ticket, go over to England, and find one that has been just babied to death. That's a long time ago, so maybe the guy passed away, and the son has it now, and maybe he's on his hard times, and he knows that bike's worth, like, I just crossed myself because we just passed a little monument, for someone's passing. They had his motorcycle helmet there and flowers. So that's a cool little bridge. This is a great part of Mulholland. You can really get up a little speed right here in the straightaway. But, over the years, I take this road ever since I've been a teenager up to the rock store, and you just can't help but see motorcycle accidents periodically, whether the ambulance is there yet or not. On Old Topanga, which I sometimes, I took Las Virgenes up to Mulholland today, but I also like taking Topanga to Old Topanga, which is where Charles Manson lived with his little hippie guru sect up on Spawn Ranch. And so you go right through Old Topanga, and you pass an almond tree right where Old Topanga hits Mulholland, and you turn left right there. Right on your right there at that intersection is an almond tree, and you can actually go and collect free almonds on the ground. You're right there with all the squirrels. They're just loving that tree. But yeah, this is just memory lane for me. I've been taking this road my whole life. Right here on the right coming up, you got Cornell's. And now that was an old, I mean, the rock store was still there when this was kind of a biker bar in the early 70s, but rock store hadn't really became a destination for bikers yet. And this was more of a hangout for bikers. And I remember my parents taking me in there as a kid because our family ranch was just about 5 minutes down Mulholland. So we would go there a few times and have dinner there. And it was an old bar, like sawdust on the floor, but they serve food too. There it is right there with the antlers on top. But now look at that Triumph. That's like a 2020. Those new Triumph Scramblers are really beautiful, and that would be a nice combination of what I have. Have my nice cruiser and then have a nice Triumph Scrambler also. Have a good day. God bless.